You're alive. So YouTube claims. Hello, all back for some more. I'm gonna share this link. Where's that again? I don't like microns. Never have. I used Stadler's, Pilots. What are the ones I like? Stadler's and the Stadler and the Pilot pigment pens are my preferred favorites. I always found microns too brittle. These things are quite nice. Also, they were a little cheaper than my usual pens too, about $1 cheaper. And I have been doing the last 2 pages with them exclusively. I only have rotoring. What do you call them? Brain. I haven't used them in decades. Oh, there's one sitting right here. These things. I only have those in rotorings, but I don't use them anymore. Ink's nice, but I haven't used the pens. But I'm liking the Winsor Newtons. They've got a very nice, I guess, unsurprisingly brushy feel. I guess the unknown quantity at this point is how long they'll last. I'm putting some heavy use on them though, so I'll get a good sense of that pretty soon. I like the much more tapered and further back. I guess the visual black ring there helps me see and keep my hands away from creeping on up on the point, which is better for control and keeping ink off my fingers. Okay. The bag. Yeah. And that line. Makes more sense to be black. Defines the shape better. It's darker. There. I think too fine. 3 to do some hatchy stuff. I'm feathering these second ones that are going longer more. I intend to keep those exposed. And last, I find once again. There we go. Okay. I need to roll my rice over that before I do any more, and it needs to dry a second before I do that. So on to the next panel. I tell people to learn how to do rough sketching and gesturing. Always try to emphasize, like, don't start at the eyes. Do focus on the gross, larger forms right away. Get those in place before you try to do anything specific. It's still true. Should do that. But once you've got everything roughed in and refined, even to a fair degree, which is the case here, I actually go for the eyes first, then a lot. It's like a reward for having been patient. Go in for the eyes first. Kill it. No, that's needlessly violent and not how I feel at all. But yeah, I tend to zoom in on characters' eyes and do them first once I have all the penciling and inking. Sorry, penciling, pre-inking prepared. This is where brushes come in real good doing hair. Before. And this is a Pilot fine liner pigment brush, which I have refilled several times with carbon black, platinum carbon black specifically. I buy bottles of that. It's good stuff and it doesn't clog them up. So. Mm-hmm. One of the nice things about refilling your own brushes is you don't fret things like using them to fill in blank black areas and wasting expensive refill money. Ink. Relative expensive. It's all relative. These days, people are drawing on $1,000 tablets and then complain to me about the price of some brushes. That always makes me giggle. Actually drew one of the stories going into Mind Engines all digitally. Dream Life. If you follow the Patreon links in the text below, you'll find them as part of the Mind Engine tag posts. You'll find the art samples. That was interesting. I'd done a couple illustration jobs before that, all digitally, so it gave me the confidence to go at it. It's often the case when you've been a freelance artist for a long time. You learn on the job a lot, and then that in turn comes and informs your personal work. I've also had personal work educate and inform what I do and can take to the job. I think arguably that's how it started. But it happens the other way quite a lot too. And so I started doing some illustration for coloring books digitally because it just presented easier editing afterwards opportunity, which I needed for that client. It was a good job, but there was a lot of revisions. It was just a lot easier to go in and do that kind of work and clean it up. And what they were asking for line quality wise is basically something that was kind of natural to digital and was a challenge for me to do with a brush. That kind of flat coloring book line. Not my usual thing. I don't mind. I enjoy the challenge of shifting up and trying different styles. I've done many different styles for fun. I think Revolver 1's a really good example of like me doing every story. I did a pretty dramatic change of gears and put on a different face almost as in terms of the approach and process. Style is just really a quick collection of like if then and this rules about how you approach things and what kind of forms you use and the level of realism that you're trying to do and the kind of tools you use and the quality of lines they give. And so on and so forth. And for me, the goal was always to learn as many tools as I could and then be able to make choices about that and shift to different styles. That always made more sense to me as a professional artist. It's all still me in many ways, but when you're doing it for a client, it's not about your ego, it's about the concept that they want to achieve, and then you become a component in the creative process rather than singular. Just interesting, and it's a better way to make money than washing dishes. I've done both. But then this stuff I'm doing now, this is purely personal stuff I wrote and have been wanting to play with for a long time. Where's my... There it is. It's a bit better, more balanced. something I say a lot in my classes is don't trace your drawing. You're not tracing when you're inking your drawings, especially if you're inking your own drawings. You don't want to be just trying to perfectly match some line that you wasted a lot of time getting perfect in the pencils for. If you're penciling for somebody else to ink, it's nice to be really clean and clear of what you're indicating about the line. But when you're doing it for yourself, I keep it pretty rough. And part of that is just so that I have something left to do when I'm inking in a way. I don't want to overwork it. And even if I think I've gotten it perfect in the pencil somewhere, I have to treat it like I'm doing it again for the first time. It's too thin. It's got to be more like here. You do things like that. You see more truly. That's the word I'm looking for. More truly. You see more truly where the line needs to be. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oops. The bang the mic. I think I'm going to just on the back, so just do this pattern. Nice and full. This was an art brush. It's bigger. Loaded up with platinum carbon black for the big fill-ins, because I like doing this with a brush and ink better than a marker. Used to do it with markers. It's fine, fast markers, but it's just more fun this way. You actually have more fine control when you want it to, because the tip of this is just as precise as the fine. But all of this is really black too. Probably that figure as well. But I'm going to save that decision to later. Good night, Daft. May you sleep well. Mm-hmm. Filling in some blacks. Filling in some blacks. That's way into the bleed, so I'm safe there. Don't want it to be neat. Hey, Abhinav? Am I saying that right? Let that air out. Laid in some ink there. A little wet spot. think go back to this, and we're gonna see with that. Let's move so the camera can see better. Tight little feather and bits for folds in his tunic around the shoulders. And then really all of this should be in some shadow. Just a strong shadow from the box and the knuckle and the hand. That would be dark. Yep, that makes sense. Define that a bit better. Yep. And do some brushes here. That feels right. Yeah. Okay. This one, I want all the space. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I'm just going to silhouette that figure entirely. I do use digital inking. I just don't prefer it. I prefer working on paper. That's how I started 3 decades ago. I have done some I think I just mentioned earlier in the feed. You may not have been here for that. Dream Life. It's a story that's going into the same book this is. And that was drawn all digitally. If you go check out the Patreon, you can see pages of that. And it was interesting. And I'll be doing more. But I still think I ultimately prefer paper, and frankly, it's faster. At least for me, considerably. Talking to you guys, I forgot I'm not doing any fucking details on this thing. I'm just doing the thing in the black. Like that. Let's just go with the brush. Let's stick with the brush. There we go. Stiff. That's going to catch a highlight. That's good. Gotta watch out for that rope line. I do not understand the Cyrillic. But hello. In Cyrillic. Yeah. That's not what I wanted. That's wrong. In comes the whiteout. There we go. What? I can bring those as planned. Mhm. Alrighty, Ragnarok. See you around. Doot. No. 5. Squeak, 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 squeak. This is how you avoid erasing too much ink. Don't rub. Oops. Just roll. You can also do like a rolling motion like this. It does have the effect of lifting more ink when you have more impact. But just avoiding the rubbing motion does a lot. And then if I need to, for a detail, squish it into a pinch and rub just a detailed area. You can make it the shape of and rub along the line directly, which also helps if there's any gunneling happening. You can get in there and get the pigment out. Now, I know I want to clean up this. That is good. That could be cleaned up. Now that I can see it properly. And I almost always end up grooming my inks a little bit after I do the erasing. That's normal. If you really want to minimize this, you can use indie ink. It's if you let it dry, it's more durable because of the lacquer in it. But generally, it can't be helped, and that's fine. That's why you should get rid of your majority of your pencils before you declare yourself finished mentally. Because you might be going back in. I think I want to just fill that in. It feels better. Yep. Chunk. Simplify. There we go. Nice and clean. I'll put some coffee. $3 a.m. Okay. End of this now. Good night, all.